Greeting to all the students. Welcome to Global Online University. Global Online University is back with Northeast Set 2022 preparation video for the topic People, Development and Environment. Now, this particular topic is students are a little bit scared for this topic. The reason is this topic has a lot of questions which are unexpected. But in this particular theory lecture, all the guidance, all the concepts are very well cleared so that you can definitely in one watch, which is a must watch before your examination, you will be able to clear all the topics very well. You will be able to ensure that whatever type of fear you have, it's completely removed after watching this video, and this video will just gain up your confidence to appear for the paper. Hardly a month is left, so now whatever you're doing, it will be ensured that it is properly captured in your mind. You have to ensure that you're watching this video in one go without any break, because after that it is difficult to recall certain parts. So it's a must watch before video before your examination in one go, and it will definitely help you out to crack all your doubts, all your questions, all your concerns with respect to your paper one topic, people, development and environment. Full-fledged. So we have a batch for paper one. So you can join our WhatsApp batch for paper one. What is the facility of this batches will be? You will be getting full syllabus video lectures. You will be getting 40 plus mock test with solution with PDF solutions. You'll get all the notes on all the topics in booklet forms, as well as practice MCQs. And the fees for the same is 999 rupees. That is 999. You can also get in touch with us for the paper two study material, which is available us, where you can get in touch with respect to either paper one or paper two, and immediately for last 1 month time which is left for you, you can make full utilized of that 1 month, and you can ensure that the things are done well, and you definitely crack your examination in the first attempt. So without wasting time, whatever doubts you have or whatever queries you have, please get in touch with us so that we can help you, and you can start the preparation for your examination immediately, so that in 1 month's time you can definitely be confident to achieve your you achieve your result in a very positive form. In order, first, let's understand quickly the syllabus. It is basically development and environment. Development was not the part of the old syllabus. It is included in as a new part of your syllabus. Human and environmental interaction, wherein you have entrepreneurial activities as well as their impact, that is human activities, which we call various environmental issues. Little bit questions on this becomes a bit difficult for the students, but I have covered it in a part of theory. So let's see how you can revise, and definitely you should recall all those things. So as I said, just important points you note down. Impacts of pollutants on human health, the natural and energy resources, natural hazards in the form of mitigation strategies, and Environmental Protection Act, that is in the form of National Action Plan on Climate Change, various agreements in the form of protocols, conventions, as well as Keto Protocol, Paris Agreement, International Solar Alliance. So these are very, very frequent in last 2-3 years examination. So I have taken the theory lecture in this form, that the important topics I have covered, as well as all the topics are definitely covered, but ensure it is in very straight format, so that what is important from exam point of view, you can remember those things very quickly and after looking at this video. So yes, let's start the first session with our that is Millennium Development Goals, that is your MDG, which is the first part or first topic of your syllabus. So basically there are 8 goals, which was 8 goals for the year 2015 has been established in the form of Millennium Summit, or you call it as of the United Nations, which are adopted by United Nations Millennium Declaration, which also is known as Shaping the 21st Century Strategy. And this Millennium Development Goals were succeeded by something called as Sustainable Development Goals, which has an agenda of 2030. So 189 nations, United Nation members with 22 international organizations committed to achieve the Millennium Development Goals, which were targeted by 2015, and what these goals are. So now here
The most important part, there are questions seen that they give you the goals and they'll tell you to organize the goals, uh, either, I mean to say, recognize the right goals and, eliminate the wrong one. So you have to understand, or you have to tick the correct code. So just quickly, let's have a look at them, but this you have to remember. So you need to go through it once properly also. Extreme poverty and hunger, to eradicate poverty and hunger, to achieve universal primary education, gender equality and women empowerment, child morality, maternal health, AIDS, HIV to be combated along with malaria and other diseases, to ensure environmental sustainability, that is not only for present generation but for the future generation also, and to develop the partnership goals for to develop global partnership for development. So just keep the sequence also in mind. You don't know what type of questions can be expected, so just be careful for this goals, which are 8 in number, which are given as follow. The target was 2050. Followed by them was Sustainable Development Goals, which was adopted by 193 countries, with an aim to achieve them in 2030 with three main pillars, that is economy, environment, and social society. So which are those goals which I have written in the form of numbers? So no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation. Then you have as decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation and infrastructure, reduced inequality, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on land, peace and justice, strong institutions, partnership to achieve the goal. Now, there are different types of stories, there are different types of acronyms. So last moment I will definitely not tell you whichever acronym, whichever pattern to or remember these goals you have learned, stick to that, but you have to remember this 17 goals. Even this can be a part of question, and which are odd man outs, you can get a choice, so you have to be careful. Next comes as, yes, the International Solar Alliance, as per the Environmental Act 1986, one of the concept, which is an alliance of 124 countries, which was initiated by India on 30th November 2015. It is a treaty-based intergovernmental organization which was launched by Prime Minister Mr. Modi ji and the former President Mr. Francois Hollande of France. That is, between France and India, this alliance was being, or this treaty was been signed. The leading European nation, Sweden. This is very latest information which you have to keep in mind with respect to International Solar Alliance, because this is latest and International Solar Alliance is a part of a question. So you may definitely get, any modern, any latest update. So the latest update as per July 2021, that is the leading European nation, Sweden, has ratified the framework agreement for International Solar Alliance, an initiative of India to aim at promoting renewable energy and sustainable development, on the date 17th of July 2021. Then the goal is to set the ground rules, the rules and regulations, standards for solar energy, as well as to adapt, a massive deployment in the countries which are richer in solar resources, where there is a risk seen, I mean to say, where the risks are still seen high. Then we have the World Solar Bank, who is the proposed financial agency which will pool the resources around the world and use them for the solar projects. India has set an ambition of 450 gigawatts of renewable energy by 2030, for which with 175 gigawatts deployment is by in 2022. So yes, there's a question on this particular uh, uh, update, as well as the question has been between which two countries it has been signed. So the question which is not yet a part of examination is the latest update which you need to keep in mind. Then there is something called as human development report. Now what is this report? It's an human development index which is published by the Human Development Report Office of United Nations Development Program. So basically it talks about what? So this report tells you, or it make recommendations for the change that generate attention and debate among the stakeholders and policymakers, which raise public awareness about human development. It means that they promotes resource mobilization in the area of development, and which needs, uh, I mean to say, which needs the most, sorry, and it triggers the responses to needs, to meet the needs of the society. So now, in the 30th anniversary of Human Development Report that was conducted in 2020, okay, was the latest series of which was published by United Nations Development Program, and it was started since 1990. So the theme for the year was human development and anthropocene. That is the report which focuses on improving human lives while relieving our planet the pressure of development. So yes, this particular part of the point or the topics can be a part of your question. What is the basic objective? It is helps to enable the environment for people to enjoy their life, to be healthy, and to create the life. So it is basically taking care of the environment, but at the same time ensuring that environment is for the development of people. So it has to be a cooperation from both the ends. So therefore, there are four pillars of human development, and those pillars are equity, sustainability, productivity, and empowerment. India's latest rank, I mean to say, is one third. The rank, the latest is India rank 131 with respect to this development index. Norway tops the index. The country of Norway is the top one. Sri Lanka is at 72. China is 85. Bangladesh is as 133, and Pakistan is 154. Obviously, you need to know the rank of India and which country tops the rank. That is the Norway. Now, coming to, yes, the protocols. First, we'll let talk about Montreal Protocol. Now, with respect to this protocol, there is always a keyword seen in examination as ozone layer. So that's how it is remembered. So the objective is basically to protect the ozone layer by phasing out of, the numerous substances that are responsible for depletion. It regulates the production and consumption of handmade, chemical referred as ozone depleting substance. So that is, this protocol takes care of this particular substances, that is decrease of particular substances. It was adopted on 16th September 1987, which is also called as Ozone Day. The protocol is to date the only United Nations territory that has been ratified by every country on the earth, all 198 United Nations members, that is universally ratified. So it is a part of, your ratification, as a part of your rule or law, you can say. Then going to the next is Keto Protocol, which was adopted in Japan on December 11th, 1997. Again, in Keto Protocol, you can see one of the, I mean to say, the keyword is emission, okay, greenhouse gases. These are the related keywords which you can find in examination. So basically, it is to owe a complex ratification process, and it came into force on 16th of Feb 2005. Currently, there are 102 parties which are related to this protocol. So what it does is it operationalizes the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change by doing or committing the industrialized countries and economics to limit the greenhouse gas, that is emission. So it is an international agreement which is basically aimed at to reduce the carbon dioxide emissions and the presence of greenhouse gas. That's why I said the keyword is emission. Okay, so you have to remember like that. The Paris Agreement, we are going to do Paris Agreement in detail also, was an agreement with the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change dealing with greenhouse emission gases, that is strategies, mitigation, you can say. Whereas Keto Protocol is a treaty that commits the state to reduce the greenhouse emissions, that is based on the scientific consequences. So consequences. So let's see, I mean to say, in detail also we are going to study the Paris Agreement. Next is Nagoya Protocol. So it is, it is the second protocol to the Convention on Biological Diversity, which was adopted on 29th of October 2010. As I said, this is a revision lecture. I'm sorry I'm disturbing you people in between, but this is a revision lecture and I need to complete the whole theory part in one go. But as I said, that it is not possible for you people to come back and read the or see the video once again. So please ensure that you're keeping your notepad ready, so you're utilizing it. As I said, Montreal Protocol, you have written okay, ozone. Keto Protocol, you have written okay, it is a mission about carbon dioxide or greenhouse gases. So Nagoya Protocol, it is basically related to the conventional biological diversity. So it was adopted in the year 2010 and it came into force in 2014 Japan. So you may have the place also, keto wear or Nagoya Protocol wear. So you should be able to understand it and ensure that uh, your smart notes will help you out with all this recalling part. Okay. Now, talking about the aim, that is three objectives were based. It was based on three objectives with reference to, assess the resources, fair and equitable benefits, and utilization or conservation and sustainable use of biodiversity. It provides a legal framework for effective implementation as one of the objectives on Convention of Biological Diversity. Now, yes, the Convention on Biological Diversity, which is also called as the Biodiversity Convention, okay, it's a multilateral treaty. It has three goals, as we have discussed right now, that is conservation, sustainability, and fair and equitable benefits. So it was actually open for signature in the Earth Summit, that is in Rio Summit, you can say, on 5th of June 1992, and by end of July 1993, 165 nations has signed this treaty. It came into force on 1993, that is 29th of December, and it was the first time in international law that the conversation of biodiversity is one of the common concern of humankind and one of the important part of development process. Coming to, yes, we have been seeing this word, that is conference, convention, protocol, treaty. So conference, it's nothing but you initiate the discussion. Conventions, that you streamline the discussion, you eliminate what is not needed and you take the things which is needed, which has came out of your discussion. Protocol, basically it is it tells about what it tells about, you have to enter into something which will definitely help each and every country in the world for your for the betterment, for the benefit. Where there is it is voluntary, it is not made mandatory, but the moment it's signed into treaty, it is a mandatory part for every country to ensure that they are doing what has been promised. So with that reference, we have a lot of conferences. We have done some protocols, but some still are there. So let's see one by one. So the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development. Many times it is seen that the acronym comes and you have to write the full form correctly and the year also. So it's also known as the Earth Summit or that was held at Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. So this was the global conference which was held on the 20th anniversary of the first international conference of Stockholm 1972. The outcomes were three things, that is the Rio de Janeiro Agenda 21 and Forest Principles. Now let's see what was this Rio Declaration. Environment and development around the world. It was also called as informally Earth Summit. 27 principles with major topic was human role in the protection of environment for Rio Declaration. Now, we had two summits, that is Rio plus 10 and plus 20, so which was in the year 2002 with the following points, that is World Summit on Sustainable Development, which was from 26th of August to 4th of September in 2002. The Johannesburg Declaration was one of the main outcome of the summit. So it was formed to commit Agenda 21 about, that is Millennium Development Goals, that is your MDGs. And it was a 10-year follow-up, okay, with United Nations Conference on Environment and Development. 10th anniversary of 1992 Earth Summit or United Nations Conference on Environment and Development was held in Rio de Janeiro, that is in Brazil. Next was the 20, that is in the year 2012. Okay, I have just made a small correction. It is 2012. Okay, so it is basically known as the Rio or Earth Summit with an aim of sustainable development, that is with reference to economic and environmental goals. and definitely it was a 20-year follow-up, okay, which was held in the same city, and the 10th anniversary of 2000, as the 2002 World Summit on Sustainable Development, that is in Johannesburg. Okay, so we have two Rios, that is Rio plus 20 and plus 10, 10 with a 10-year follow-up and 20 with a 20-year follow-up. Then we have the next something called as Agenda 21. Now, what is this Agenda 21? It's a non-binding United Nation related to sustainable development with an outcome of, United Nation conference, which was held in 1992. So it is a 3050 page document, okay, which is divided into 40 chapters and into 4 sections. So this 21 refers to the 21st century. The aim is to achieve the global sustainable development. So it is nothing but a blueprint of action which has to be taken globally, that is in the form of nationally and locally, in every area with respect in which humans directly affect the environment. So basically it focus about environment, which is where the humans are directly definitely affected. For implementation of this points, a Commission on Sustainable Development was also established in the year 1992 in order to check that things are in place. Now, forest principles. Now, this forest principles definitely was a non-legal. It is non-legally by comment that several recommendations for the conservation and sustainable development for all type of forest were made. That is, taking part greening of the world into greening of the world. So yes, the outcomes, as I said, I have just summarized over here. So the outcomes were the global conference, that is 20th anniversary, which was held at Stockholm 1972, with the Earth Summit following into Rio de Janeiro, Agenda 21 and Forest Principles. Coming to next is the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. So this is which had, was one of the 5 outcomes of Rio Summit. So it is one of the 5 outcomes of Rio Summit. It is non-legally binding, so it's not a force, it's a voluntary part. It did not set any mandatory limits, as I said, non-legal, so there was no mandatory limits for greenhouse emission. Neither it contained any enforcement mechanism. It said that protocols will be legally binding and enforcement with the help of Keto Protocol. So objective was to, stabilize the greenhouse concentrations and stop any damage activities or prevent the activities which are dangerous, which was adopted in 1992, and it was open for signature in 1992 itself, that is in the month of June, and it came into force in 1994 with a lot of countries ratifying the concept. Talking about INDCs, that is Indented Nationally Determined Contributors, as one of the Conference of Parties, that is 19. So during the Warsaw Summit 2013, countries agreed to outline what actions need to be taken under the global agreement before the Paris Summit 2015. So they can be reviewed after 5 years. So there was one question in one of the paper that after how many years they are being reviewed. So it is after every 5 years. So you see how the questions can be a part of out of your theory. So you have to just ensure that your eyes are and ears are properly, I mean to say, the open, you hear what is said and you definitely take a note of it. So they are contributions submitted by the government on 2nd of October, that is as in Gandhi Jayanti pledge. It is basically improving the emission intensity by 30 to 35% with an agenda to be completed by 2030, and the share of non-fossil fuels to 40% by again 2030. Plus they have the forest cover which can absorb 2.5 sentence percentage, sorry, 2.5 percentage of carbon dioxide by 2030, and to install 175 gigapower of solar, wind and biomass electricity by 2020. So here there are a lot of facts, so you should just keep noted down. GDP by 33 to 35%, fossil fuels by 40, forest cover by 2.52%, and the installation of 175 gigawatts with the biomass electricity by 2022. So yes, as I said, under Keto Protocol, we did protocol, but under Keto Protocol, there was a question with reference to commitments. So there are 2 commitments. The first commitment was from 2008 to 2012. The second commitment was from 13 to 20. So you should know this commitment how many commitments and how many years also, from what to what year. So the target was basically six main, I mean to say it to cover the emission of six main greenhouse gases, that was carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, hydrofluorocarbons, fluorocarbons, sulfur hexafluoride. More than 35 countries has been binding the targets for the first time. Okay, so you should be aware of these commitments, the periods, and which gases, the six greenhouse, which gases. So that there again there was a question out of this. So which six gases? So odd man out it was. So that also has to be understood very correctly. Now, yes, we did all these things, but still, Convention on Biological Diversity, Convention on Biological Diversity, which was an international legally binding treaty to sustain the diversity of life of the earth, which was opened for signature in 1992 and came into force in 1993. The three goals of this were, conservation of biodiversity, sustainable use of biodiversity, fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising out of, genetic resources. So this was the overall objective which led to the sustainable future. Its governing body is none other than the Conference of Parties, that is COP. Then, yes, National Action Plan on Climate Change. Last 2-3 years, there are a lot of questions on this also. So you have to be alert. When I'm saying a lot of questions, so you have to be alert for this topic. So it was launched on 30th of June 2008 with 8 missions. So once there was a question, is totally how many missions? There are 8 missions. Yes, it was basically to understand or promote the climate change, the adaptation, the mitigation, that is, the strategies for the efficiency and natural resource conservation. Prime Minister Council. Now, for this also there was a question that which council is, in charge of this. So Prime Minister Council is in charge of this particular thing. And which are those 8 missions, which are given as below? That is mission with reference to solar, which was, I have purposely written the dates, that was Jan 2010 to promote solar power. Mission for energy efficiency in 2009, sustainable habitat 2011, water mission, sustaining the Himalayan ecosystem, that is 2014. Then it is Green India, it was 2014 again. Sustainable agriculture 2010, and strategic knowledge for climate change approved is in 2017. So yes, these are the 8 missions. So we have to be very, very careful. There are questions on this. Now, yes, let's talk about some Stockholm Conference of 1972, which was international conference, which was held in Stockholm, that is Sweden, from 5th of June to 16th of June. That's the reason 5th of June was celebrated as World Environmental Day. It is marked as one of the turning point in international environmental politics. So containing 26 principles, and the action plan with 109 recommendations. So this is the specialty about, United Nations Conference on Human Environment. Next we have is the United Nations Environment Program, that is UNEP, which was, founded in June 1972, headquarters at Kenya. Analyzing and identifying, analyzing and identifying the global environment problem with respect to regional and international environmental, I meant to say, yes, international environment program with respect to, promoting environmental science and information. Now, when we talk about this, the World Meteorological Organization, that is United Nations Environment Program, was established as an intergovernmental panel on climate change, that is in 1988. Yes, the activities related to the 7 broad thematic areas under this United Nations Environmental Program are as follows. That is climate change, disasters and conflicts, ecosystem management, environmental governance, environment under review, to with respect to harmful substances resource efficiency. It is one of the several implementing agencies for global environment, and has registered several successive programs such as the Montreal Protocol and the Minamata Convention to limit the toxic mercury. So Minamata Convention, you can just remember the keyword is with respect to mercury. Okay. Now, Chlorofluorocarbons, again, this is one of the important topic where the questions are seen, that is, depleting, known as the ozone depleting substances, which is used in production of plastic foams, cleaning electronic components, and pressurizing agents, that is in aerosol cans. So they are non-toxic, non-flammable chemicals containing atoms of carbon, chlorine, and fluorine, which are used in aerosol sprays, okay, blowing agents for foams and packing materials or solvent and refrigerators. So these are all these topics or these points with respect to all the questions which were seen in previous year with respect to chlorofluorocarbons. Then yes, now we have the list of days. I mean to say, there are various days, because many a times there has been seen that massive following comes with recognition of the days. So World Forest Day, Water Day, Resource Day, Atmosphere Day, Earth Day, Migratory Day, Biodiversity Day, Environmental Day. That is all with reference to a syllabus. One Mahotsav a week, then Population Day, Wildlife Week, Natural Day, Wildlife Day, Birds Day, Conservation Conservation Day. Then we have as International Day of Education, Earth Day, by International Biological Diversity, World Environmental Day. Then the Wetland Day, the Forestry Day, World Water Day, Earth Day. Some may be repeated, but this is just to give you a clear idea. Ozone Day, which we did, World Wildlife Week. Then we have International Day for Natural Disaster Reduction and National Pollution Prevention Day. And all these important days are with out of your syllabus itself. So I mean to say, out as a part of your syllabus, which you need to definitely revise very well, again, which is very factual, so you have to be very careful for this. Okay, now yes, next is the hydrometeorological hazards, which is again an important topic seen in the papers. So it is by extreme meteorological and climate events in the form of, now what are these hydrometeorological hazards? In the form of floods, droughts, hurricanes, tornadoes, landslides, or mudslides. It is in the form of typhoons, or blizzard, that is a snowfall, heavy snowfall, avalanches, or the floods resulting in, including the flash floods, which the latest one is funny, that is May 2019, Bulbul in November 2019, West, that is in West Bengal, Amphan, that is again in West Bengal, and Yas in West Bengal, or Odisha and Jharkhand. So the latest one I have listed it, you can get it as a part of your ex- uh, current affairs also. Yes, there is a concept called as Earth Hour, okay, which is a worldwide movement by World Wide Fund, okay, which talks about encouraging the individuals, communities, and businesses to turn off the electric lights with when it is not essential to use. So for that, an hour is dedicated, that is from 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 on a specific day towards the end of the March, as a symbol of commitment to the planet. It was started as a lights off event in Sydney initially, that is Australia, in 2007, and it has been marked as Earth hour, that is Earth hour as a concept widely known as. So in 2021, it happened on 27th of March 2021. The theme was climate change to save Earth. The next schedule is 26th of March 2022. So this is basically a global grassroots movement in order to unite the people to take action against the environmental issue and protect the planet. Now this moment is definitely going to reach every I mean to say, is going to symbolize the commitment towards the nature and planet by the individuals or by the country. So this is one concept which should you be aware of. Yes, then I was talking about Paris Agreement. Yes, it is one of the legally binding international treaty which was adopted at Conference of Parties, that is by 196 countries on 12th of December 2015, and came into force on 4th of November 2016. It is the goal is to limit the global warming, preferably below 2, preferably 1.5 degrees Celsius to the pre-industrial levels. And yes, it is to reach the peak of greenhouse emission as soon as possible. So it is one of the multilateral climate change process, and it is legally binding towards all the nations, to undertake the efforts in order to fight the climate change and adapt to its effect. Then it's a 5-year cycle. Yes, by 2020, countries submit their plans for climate action. Sorry, which will be known as national, that is by every country. So it is called as nationally determined countries, and it will definitely see to the reduction of greenhouse emissions. And it also provides a framework for financial, technical, and capacity building support to those countries who need it. Yes, the next topic which we have is pollution. So it is definitely a effect which is which brings an undesirable changes in the surroundings, and also affects the planets, humans, and animals. And it is, it is not only the pollution, but it is, with the help of, it adds to a substance like solid, liquid, gas, in any form of, energy, which cause a negative effect. So it is, pollution is nothing. Sorry, pollutant is a substance which cause pollution, which can definitely rapidly have negative effect, on the environment. And it can see that is there are it leads, or it is because of lot of human made activities in the form of construction, transportation, or manufacturing. And that is in the form of volcanic eruptions, release of methane, emission of natural gases, nitrogen oxide, cosmic rays, UV rays, ultraviolet rays. So let's see quickly the type, that is air pollution, soil, noise, water, and radiation pollution. So starting with types of pollutant, which are two types, that is primary and secondary. Primary, which are directly emitted. There is also a question that they give you some examples, and they ask you which is primary or which is, secondary. So one which is direct are primary in the form of storms, volcanoes, or, human activities such as revolution, transportation. So either form of, like for example, carbon oxides, nitrogen oxide, sulfur oxide, hydrocarbon, particulate material are the form of these examples. That is primary examples. When we talk about secondary, it is which is indirectly emitted by, by the reaction in the primary pollutants. So sulfuric acid, that is sulfur dioxide, reacts with water vapor in the atmosphere and form the secondary pollutant that is called as sulfuric acid. So one of the like that, nitric acid, ozone, the peroxyl acetyl nitrate is the one which reacts with ozone and hydrochloric acid in order to, which is found in burnt petroleum, and they are commonly called as photochemical smog. So there were, as I said, there were the question scenes on primary and secondary pollutants with the help of example. So the one which come directly are primaries, and the one which is in reaction with primary is called as secondary. Then air pollution, yes, which is a kind of solid, liquid, or gaseous substance, can form or can lead to the problem in eye, skin, and respiratory system. Can form a smog, that is combination of smoke and fog, okay, which was coined by Vox, that is in 1905. It is also due to smoke or soot, which we call interaction with sunlight with the suspended particles. uh, and 1st of April, I mean to say 2017, there was a ban on sale and registration of Bharat Stage 3 vehicles. And the Bharat Stage has set the norms regarding the permissible level of the pollutants. The air quality index is the evaluation. Okay. So here the standard and time limit for implementations are set by whom? That is by the Central Pollution Board, which comes under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Now, talking about water pollution, the presence of undesirable elements in water has led to water pollution in the form of major water pollutants such as industrial waste released in water. So there are other pollutants like, for example, untreated waste, sewage water, or pesticide from farms, or mercury, presence of mercury, lead, arsenic. For example, as I said, mercury, toxic, which we have seen various examples earlier also. Oil spills or hot water release from industries into water, and misuse of groundwater. So yes, these are the examples of water pollution. Soil pollution is one which can cause harmful consequences on living beings by deteriorating the fertility, and can also pollute, the use, sorry, can also be polluted by the use of polluted water. So the sources can be fertilizer plus pesticides, plastics, contaminated water, fly ash, landfills, and chemical resides like acids, metallic waste from the industries, and non-degradable as waste and garbage. So noise pollution, there's a question frequently seen on this. So it's an unwanted sound, which definitely leads to noise pollution, which has a huge impact in the form of hearing loss or increased blood pressure, reduction efficiency in the work efficiency, depression, disturb pattern of sleeps, So the World Health Organization has recommended a normal noise level at 45 decibel by daytime and 35 by night. So many a times you get a question on industrial and daytime and nighttime limits. So if it is industrial, if it is commercial, residential, or silent zone, what is the limit? So many times the questions are seen on this. So this table you should be remembering very well. dB stands for decibel. It's nothing but the unit of measuring noise. Coming to radioactive pollution, that is caused by radioactive elements in the form of emission of alpha, beta, and gamma rays, which can lead to pollution, use of nuclear weapons, or the radioscopes into the water bodies, chemical spills in the form of particles into environment during mining, and cosmic rays in the Earth's atmosphere. Now, yes, here also I've given a new table in the form of air quality index, the levels and the colors. So, 0 to 50 indicates good, green in color, 51 to 100 moderate yellow in color, 101 to 150 unhealthy, which will be orange in color, 151 to 200 it is unhealthy, red in color, this is dangerous, 201 to 300 very unhealthy, purple in color, and maroon represents hazardous. So you can also get a question based on this air quality index, which was seen with either with the levels or with the colors. So you should be aware of this. Coming to the pollutants, basically that is particulate material, PM 2.5, ozone, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, carbon monoxide, lead, or ammonia. So air quality is basically used by government agencies in order to communicate the public how the air how polluted the air is, and this is a system which is used to warn people about the danger of air pollution. Now, we have studied what is biodegradable and non-biodegradable substances. So the one which can be broken down into simple organic forms or inorganic substances is called biodegradable, but one which cannot be broken down, it is non-biodegradable. So the waste is made up of natural, but it is made up of synthetic substances. They do not disturb the ecology and do not cause pollution, whereas they leads to a lot of disturbance into the ecology or ecological balance and cause pollution. They have a very short life, whereas non-biodegradable have a very long life. Examples are in the form of cow dung or agriculture waste. They are in the form of radioactive waste or chemical waste. Coming to, yes, certain few topics on which the questions are seen, that is blue baby syndrome is syndrome, sorry. It's nothing but the condition that affects the oxygen transportation in the blood and which results into the blueness of the skin, which is it's common form cause in that is sorry, it's most common of blue baby syndrome, that is water contaminated with nitrate. And if the baby drinks that, the water rich in nitrate gets converted, the body gets converted into nitrites, and which bind the hemoglobin in the body, and when it forms or when it meets the hemoglobin level, it is unable to carry the oxygen, and that's the reason we can see the discoloration in the form of skin turning into bluish color. Photochemical smog, we just now studied. It is a type of smog which is produced when ultraviolet lights from the sun reacts with nitrogen oxide. It is visible as the brown haze and is prominent during the morning and afternoon, especially in densely populated and warm cities. So the major component are nitrogen oxide or the volatile organic compounds and ultraviolet light that is in the form of sunlight. Yes, noise. We studied the noise levels for industrial and as well as residential. But let us see the source and effects also. If it is 135, it is pneumatic drill, which is very painful. 110 rock band, which is very discomfortable. 88, that is the traffic, which is hearing impairment on prolonged exposure. 80 is alarm clock, that is which is annoying, and 65, that is city average traffic, which is intrusive. So these are the effects you may get question out of this. There is no question yet seen, but the table is formed so that in case if you get it, you can able to write it. Now, yes, this I have done just now. So the same thing, but in case if you just can read it and revise it, it will be better for you. Silent zones earlier observed around 10 meters of hospital or education institutions will no longer be silent zone unless notified by the government. So like now, if it is unless and until it is notified by the government, they will be not declared as a silent zones. Yeah, sorry, the same thing I guess is been repeated for that, okay, for a clear idea. Now, yes. So one of the uh, question common seen was Minamata disaster. That is, it's a methyl mercury poisoning, which is again a cause due to the consumption of large quantities of fish and shellfish that are heavily contaminated with the chemical in the form, which has been discharged from the factories into the sea. So the mercury was in the waste product dumped into Minamata Bay, that was, on massive scale, done by one of the chemical factory in 1956 in Japan. And the mercury contaminated fish living in Minamata Bay, people ate those fishes and definitely became ill. And that's how this Minamata disease was, a big, a huge thing to be remembered. So just that is, it started with what, and it was a consumption of what and what year? That is 1956 in Japan. Yes, now you have metals, the permissible concentration and sources. Again, there is no specific question seen on this, but just to, brief you of with this, I have just formed in the form of table and some important sources you can remember, whether it is respect to aluminum, copper, mercury, cadmium, and lead. So what exactly the sources are: aluminum, whether it is, solid or industrial waste; copper in the form of smelting or mining; mercury in the form of plants, thermal power plants, or fluorescent lamps, hospital waste, electrical appliances; cadmium in the form of melting or waste batteries or e-waste; lead in the form of lead acid batteries, or e-waste, or cold based thermal power plants. So there are 35 metals that are a concern for us because of the residential or occupational exposure, out of which 23 are very heavy metals, and they are antimony, arsenic, bismuth, cadmium, cerium, chromium, cobalt, copper, gallium, iron, lead, gold, iron, lead, manganese, mercury, nickel, platinum, silver, trillium, thallium, tin, uranium, and vanadium. Now, you may not get all this, but at least remember the numbers, because the most heavy metals number wise you can remember at least 20 out of 35, 23. The next come as organic pollutants, that is, originate from the domestic sewage that is raw or treated, or urban runoff or industrial trade. This sewage influence is the greatest source of organic materials which is discharged in the fresh waters. They include the presence of chemically active compounds that are discharged from the industries. They are rich in marine water. These chemically active compounds include microplastic or leading to chemical additives and persistent organic pollutants. The sources of fossil fuels or organic chemicals or particulate material or vehicle emissions. So these, you may get a question on sources. So how these sources are formed. The next is noise pollution. We have done an answer, but this is with reference to the measurement only. So it is talking about the standard sound intensity, which is followed by magnitude called as 1 picowatt. That is, not at all sound is considered, no sound considered. So the World Organization defines that noise above 65 decibels is a noise pollution. So here the prefix, it's 1 trillion. That is, pico is nothing but a unit symbol. Then coming to, yes, we have started this, the announcement of 40% power generation capacity as a renewable energy by 2030. In that, how it is divided, that is 350 gigawatts by 2030. And India has currently installed the capacity of 275. So the huge boost in the country's renewable energy target will majorly comprise of solar, that is, which has contributed to 250 gigawatts, and wind power, which was contributed to 100 gigawatts. Yes. Now, yes, there was a question on this. So you should remember solar how much, and wind power how much. Then, yes, greenhouse gas effect is one of the process which occurs when gases in the Earth's atmosphere are trapped in the sun's heat. So what these greenhouse gases include, that is water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, ozone, and artificial chemicals such as chlorofluorocarbons. And the absorbed energy warms the atmosphere and the surface of the Earth. So that the warmth is because of this trap. Okay, so you should remember these gases. Mostly the question comes on the gases. Yes. Now, the greenhouse gases, again, your causes and sources I have written. Many times the question is seen out of this. So, carbon dioxide, it is for fossil fuel and deforestation. Chlorofluorocarbons, refrigerators, insulation foams, aerosol cans, as I said. industrial and commercial use, nitrogen oxide in the form of fossil fuel burning, fertilizer burning of food or crop residue. Methane is in the form of growing paddy, etc., of cattle and lively stocks or termites. So these are the sources. You should remember the sources very well. Depletion, important ozone depleting chemicals. So chlorofluorocarbons, that is we have repeated just now. Refrigeration or aerosol forms. Halon, that is firefighting. SCFC, that is in the form of aerosol or refrigeration. Hydrochlorofluorocarbons, that is methyl chloroform, that is solvent, and carbon dioxide tetrachloride, that is again solvent. Okay, used in what? Then next is talking about some of the important legislation for environmental protection. So this is, the legislations which have been taken, that is the National Green Tribunal, the air prevention control of pollution, the water prevention, the hazardous waste prevention. Other laws are, the Indian Forest Act, the Wildlife Protection Act, the Forest Conservation, Public Liability, Protection of Plant Varieties, Biological Diversity, and the Scheduled Tribes and other traditional forest dwellers. Now, this are, please remember, these are not seen as in question, but in one of the theory part I read it, and it was just given the heading. So you just read it once. Don't give, more concentration for this particular part. Yes, renewable source of energy which are non-depletable or naturally replenishable, such as solar energy or heat of the earth or plants, okay, or ocean currents. The thermal efficiency of energy station is percentage of heat that is, that is changed into work. So geothermal, it is from beneath the earth's surface, and it finds the surface in the form of hot springs or geysers. The efficiency is low, as around 7 to 10%. Solar energy is more efficient, that is close to 50%. The ultimate source of energy for all living organisms, it is the heat and light energy produced as a result of the fusion and fission reactions. The producers produce food by photosynthesis, and it's responsible for, all weather phenomena such as wind, storm, rain, or heat waves. Then next one we have is wind energy, which is generated by, renewable energy that is restricted to certain geographical areas, which includes wind turbines. And yes, it is a direct conversion, that elimination, which implies elimination of mechanical machines. They are used to convert wind energy to electricity. India has ranked fifth in the world with the total power capacity of 1080 megawatts, and the states like Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh are potential for wind energy development. The efficiency is 35 to 45%. When it comes to nuclear, the efficiency is 33. So here I have just written a conclusion also. Maybe the questions can come on the efficiency. So it is basically splitting atoms to release the energy. So if you see geothermal, that is 7 to 10, nuclear 33, wind 35 to 45, solar is 50. Geothermal has the least efficiency of electrical power generation. Now, yes, you may get also which has the least part and which has the highest. So solar is the highest, geothermal is the least. Yes, every year 5.5 billion tons of carbon is released by burning fossil fuels. So the massive amount of 3.3 billion tons stays in the atmosphere and becomes dissolved in seawaters. The carbon moves from atmosphere to the oceans. India is the third largest emitter of greenhouse gases, accounts for 2.46 metric tons, that is 6.8 total global emission. So the India ranks at 12%, which is overall very high rating with reference to greenhouse gas emission. Then earthquake, yeah, you need to know the magnitude and strength. If it is on a scale of 8 or more, great. 7 to 7.9 major, 6 to 6.9, that is strong. 5 to 5.9 moderate, 4 to 4.9 light, and 3 to 3.9 is minor. So you may get a question out of, magnitude, the strength and form. So yes, now what we revised at the start, that is this protocols and agreements and commissions are very important. So again, I'm just quickly going to have a quick glance. Montreal Protocol 87, that is ozone depletion. Rio Summit, also known as the Earth Summit, United Nations Conference on Environmental Development. 1992, that is, as we studied Agenda 21, climate change, biological diversity, Rio 10 and 20 conference. Then we have Convention on Biological Diversity, that is 1992. So sustainability, fair and equitable treatment and conserve biological diversity. Keto Protocol, which is reference to with greenhouse gases. India is ratified in 2002. It's actually started in 1997, and the carbon trading and penalties for non-compliance if you're not following the rule. International Solar Alliance, that is India and France, started in 2015 with the promotion of use of solar energy, setting out an e-portal or reducing the total cost for solar energy. Coming to Paris Agreement, which was formed in 2015 with an intensity to reduce emission by 2030. Financial help from or from other countries, increasing the carbon sink, investing more in these programs, and joint collaborative research and development for future. Yes, now there is a concept of United Nations READ. Now, this is basically reducing emission for deforestation and forest degradation, that is READ Plus, which was founded in 2008 to reduce, as I said, to emission of deforestation. Plus refers to conservation of the carbon stocks or sustainable management. So, which was as an international negotiation formed by United Nations Convention on Climate Change, with an focus on reducing the emissions from the deforestation and forest degradation. So this project is located in southern countries. Today there are more than 450 of them. The headquarters is in Geneva, and the membership is 60 of 65 partner countries. Then we have international biological diversity, which is deals with biodiversity issues, which is a result of the post 2015 developmental agenda sustainability developmental goal. Yes, the theme of 2021 was we are a part of the solution, which was basically with reference to the solutions which are in the nature, and this will answer the sustainable development challenges. Every year it is observed as an international day in on 22nd of May, with the issue of biodiversity. Brazil is the most biodiverse country on the planet, whereas 1/10 of the world's overall fishes call it as an home. Coming to greenhouse gases, one update, that is observing satellite, that is Ubiki, that is GOSAT, is the world's first spacecraft to measure the concentrations of carbon dioxide and methane, and the two major greenhouse gases from the space, which was launched on 2009. So this is also known as Ubiki, that is meaning the breathe, is one of the question also, in the form of Earth observation satellite and the world's first satellites dedicated to greenhouse monitoring. Now, the giant panda, the animal which has, featured animal logo for World Life Fund, WWF, which we have seen in Earth are also. So it is one of the endangered species and should be, permitted for the natural environment of their origin. So the idea was using a female panda at London Zoo, that is the furry animal appealing with more appeal, which was decided to be an excellent logo. And another reason for keeping it as just black and white is to minimize the cost. So it is the Wildlife Fund for Nature is one of the international non-governmental organization, which definitely is formed with respect to the reduction of human impact on environment, uh, which remains its official name in Canada and United States. Coming to the specific species, which are classified as United Nations, that is IUCN Red List, which are 9 groups. So what are they? That is the rate of declination, population, geographical distribution. You also call them as the degree of population or distribution fragmentation. So these they're divided into the 9 categories, which are highlighted for your benefit. So the International Union for Conservation of Nature, that is ICUN, is an international organization again, which is working for the sustainable use of natural resources, and it was founded in 1984. India became the member in 1969 with the help of Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. This is of your importance, and the office was established in 2007 in Delhi. Then UNESCO, with reference to UNESCO, the one which is responsible for promoting the world peace and security. The mission is to build a culture of peace, eradicate poverty, sustainable development, Then interculture with the help of education, science, communication, information. India became the member in 1946. The logo block is composed of three parts, that is the emblem, the temple, that is, and included in the UNESCO acronym. The complete name United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization is one of the several languages. A dotted line is the progression form. So there are six official languages of UNESCO, that is Arabic, Chinese, English, French, Russian, and Spanish. So these were two forms where, sentences or topics where you can get questions on. Then we have is yes, UNESCO, which is launched 1971, the Mans and Biosphere program, that is MAP, okay, which is again to establish the relationship between people and environment. There are 18 biosphere reserves in India. Definitely the benefit is the human livelihood, to improve the human livelihood and to promote the economic development. So these 18 biospheres are given as follows, as followed, with reference to the states also. So just you can take a pause. I mean to say some points I've highlighted where the questions were formed on. Kutch is the one with the largest area, and Nilgiri, that is Tamil Nadu, Kerala, was the first to be first included in this biosphere reserves in India. Yes, you have something called as international impact assessment, which talks about the process of evaluating the environmental impacts proposed project or development, taking into account the